Write a composition of at least 150 words about... I better count the number of words I write. The pictures. Oh, there's a park. Recently, we just wrote a story about the bee attack at the park. I'm gonna write that. What? Writing a composition can be something that you love or something that you hate. Students are creative and have the urge to jump straight into writing a story. More often than not, students look at the pictures and decide what story to write. Unfortunately, many students fail to look at the topic given. Write a composition of at least 150 words about... First and foremost, the key thing about writing a composition is not the number of words that you write. Even if you write a 1,000-word essay, you will still not be able to score if you write completely off topic. My advice to students is to focus on a topic without looking at the pictures first. Using at least one picture is a requirement. However, if you fail to answer the topic, you will still not do well. Pictures given are meant to help you develop the plot. However, it should not be the key focus of writing a composition. Today, other than reminding you to focus on the topic, I would also like to share some tips on how to decipher the composition topic so that your composition will not go off track. Tip number 1. Always look out for the articles. The first thing you should take note is the word "a". This means that throughout the whole composition, there should only be one main commotion. When looking at a composition topic, always look out for the words "a" and "n". For example, if the topic is an embarrassing incident. Some students tend to ignore the word "n" and go on to write a story about a series of embarrassing incidents. In those cases, students will be marked down if the examiner is unable to pinpoint which is the main embarrassing incident. We always advise students to focus on one main event throughout the composition to avoid going off topic. In addition, hardly will you encounter topics that require you to write about a chain of events, so stay focused. Tip number 2. Look out for continuous tenses. A kind deed. Aha! I spotted the word "a", so I can only write about one kind deed. I am going to write about Jack, who saw this old man, who did a kind deed, and Jack went home to tell his mother. Does that plot really answer the topic? It sounds more like Jack witnessing a kind deed. Wouldn't it be better if I wrote that Jack did a kind deed and went home to tell his mother? When you see a verb in the continuous tense as the first word of the topic, always ensure that it is a main character who is doing, running, winning, saying, or whatever the verb is. On top of that, keep it to 2 to 3 main characters in the story and avoid having multiple characters that do not play a role in developing the plot. Tip number 3. Look out for the Y pronouns, the you and the your. Overcoming your fear. Overcoming. ing verb, which means the main character must overcome the fear. Let's write about Mary. Mary has a fear of heights. Mary, are you Mary? When you see you or your in the topic given, be sure to write in the first person perspective, which means you write as I. Many students tend to lose marks when they fail to notice these special pronouns. Even though questions like "a day you were careless" are more common in lower and middle primary examinations, do be wary of such topics and make sure you fulfill the question's requirements. So these are some tips I have for you. These 3 simple tips will ensure that you address the topic well. Happy writing!